Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of this series. Today, my plans were originally to finish the enchanting room, but I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out on that. I might do the lily pad later on if we have time. What I want to do right now is sort out... Put some stuff away real quick. I want to sort out first of all a mob spawner, and then also a little what would you call it? I still don't know what to call it. I'm currently just calling it a bee farm. It's probably not called that. There's probably like a really solid, legitimate like word for it. Apiary, maybe. Don't know. Apiary sounds about right. But first things first, when I was doing some exploring, I did see another cave that I want to go explore. I am desperate to try and find a skeleton spawner rather than use one of the two zombie ones that we currently have, purely because with skeletons we actually will use the bones for something. With the zombies, you know, we're not getting anything. I mean, rotten flesh has legitimately no use in this game, aside from a last resort food. So, just cooking up some more night vision potions, and then we're going to go exploring. I will probably do this off camera because I have quite a bit that I want to get done today. But I will bring you guys back periodically when interesting things happen or I want to give a bit of an explanation. Okie dokie, so this is the cave entrance. We came in from there. The hill that had the nether portal is roughly around there. And I just wanted to have a look down because it looked like it led somewhere. Also, there are a few, you know, bits and pieces to gather on the way down. But yeah, so this is where we are. And once again, I'll just cut here and bring you guys back if something interesting happens. Ahaha! I see some diamonds. Ooh, that's a geode up there. Pretty. I do see you up there, though. So real quick, just gonna bonk and bonk and bonk and bonk, and you're dead. You're not. Oh, I could have got a music disc. Damn it. If I hadn't panicked, I may have been able to. Did I just crit combo him? Not crit combo, but like carry him in the air. Juggle him. Juggle him. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't think I've ever done that before. That's cool. Okay. I still have the scaffolding on me. I probably should have put that away. I'll take a couple of extra diamonds, though. Again, we're doing what I should have done. Nah, no others. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep exploring this area. Because it looks like it goes up here, and I kind of want to see what's up there before heading further down. Is it something down here? Oh, wow. Yeah, this... Ooh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. More diamonds. And again, we're digging around. Because the new rule is that it can be... Okay, well, still. More diamonds is more diamonds. Wow, yeah, okay, so this place is big. So, yeah, I'm gonna bring you guys back if I find anything else cool. Oh, I just realized I didn't record any of that. Okay, so... Shit. Okay, down there is where we came from. There were a couple more diamonds above us. God, I'm hoping that part recorded. And then we headed around here. We found a skeleton dungeon, and I'm going to dig my way up, and I'll bring you guys back in a minute. Okay. Actually, cut this part out. Before I actually go over and even start excavating the skeleton spawner, I take some time to gather the majority of the resources that I eventually will need, ranging from decoration blocks like moss and the different stones that I want to use, the different wood I want to use, as well as tinted glass, because as you'll see, I do end up putting in a tinted glass window. I started doing that very recently, as well as putting in a on-off switch, which is very easily done by hooking up some red lamps to a lever. And this is where we meet Bob for the first time. I completely forgot that happened in this episode. But yes, so there will be some redstone up ahead, and I will. It's not very complex, but I will still walk you through it all the same. I think there's also a little bit more in episode 30, which will be out Monday, I think. It all depends on when I can get episode 9 back up, and when I can get episode 10 up, and when I can get episode 11 rendered. But it should be up Monday. Fingers crossed, as long as nothing else goes wrong. But I also grabbed some kelp and some soul sand. I also grabbed some kelp and soul sand so that I can eventually make a bubble elevator. So that we have a very quick way up and down. Rather than having like a staircase or a ladder, bubble elevators are so much quicker, and they also take up a lot less space than a staircase does. A skeleton farm is one of the best things you can get set up relatively early on, in my opinion, and it's also very easy to set up. Mob spawner farms of any kind are generally pretty easy to set up, but skeletons are the most valuable. They give you bones, which turn into bone meal, which you also need for crops growing and other bits and pieces. You can also get bone blocks, which are actually a very nice block to use. And you can also tame dogs with them. Probably their most important use. But you also get an infinite supply of arrows. And until you get infinity on a bow, or can they go on crossbows? I don't know. I haven't tried it out. we'll probably try it out at some point in an episode. But it's very useful to have an infinite supply of arrows early on. What I do here is I go about lighting up the surrounding cave, which will keep mobs from spawning there, which increases the chance of them spawning in our little kill chamber. You can, if you have the time and resources to drill out a whole bunch of chunks and actually clear out an entire area, you can get some really good rates. Otherwise, just lighting up the surrounding caves is usually good enough. I take out, I start taking out the walls and floor and all of that stuff here. Because what you want to do is you want to have it be 4 blocks out on either side, as well as 3 blocks up and 3 blocks. Or is it 4 blocks down? I always forget that part. We'll see in a minute. But either way, you need to open it up a little bit, so that mob spawn will have a specific radius that they can spawn creatures in. The actual walls of a dungeon that generate naturally aren't big enough. So by expanding the walls, you have more of a chance of you're giving more of an area for mobs to spawn. So increased rates. Yeah, it's 3 blocks down. I thought so, yeah. So it's essentially 4 from each side and then 3 blocks down. And a lot of people build down the wall by 1. I just leave it. I don't see the point in bringing it down 1. Maybe it helps rate. I don't know. I've never noticed a big difference. So I just leave it 3 above, 3 below, 4 out on each side. Plus, then it's a very nice round, even thing to build. What I do here is I dig down one end, and that is where all of the skeletons are going to be pushed, and that hole right there is where all of the skeletons are going to fall down. Now, I do try and do a little bit of calculation here to figure out how far a skeleton needs to drop onto a piece of dripstone in order to die. The issue being there is that would put me out of range of the spawner. So there's no point me doing that when I can just sit down with a sword and swipe at them. So I then go about, I start clearing out where the lower level is going to be. And it's basically just going to house the place where you kill the skeletons to drop down. Above it is going to be the viewing window, the on-off switch, and the elevators up and up. They are just simply above an elevator going up, and they're just a hole with a water at the bottom so that you don't die. But they work, so, you know. I like to make them relatively sizable, because I like putting a little bit of detail in, and a little bit of decoration here and there. And again, as with all things, this is very much a work in progress in terms of decoration, and I will do a second pass of it when I eventually decide to do a whole bunch of decorating and gathering of stuff like leather. Because as soon as I get a looting sword, which I do eventually get, I don't quite remember which episode. It's either 13 or 14, but I do eventually get a looting free sword. So I can get a lot more leather. So I now feel as though at the end of episode 14, I'm in a position where I can easily start decorating the house now. I still want to finish the enchanting room first. So like I said, episode 15 is going to be finishing the enchanting room. Episode 16 is going to be general decoration stuff. I use cobblestone, andesite, and moss for the wall. Wanted it to be different to the deep slate so that if we were mining, we would notice it. That's about it. The blocks work nice together. Similar to andesite and stone working really well. Surprise, surprise, andesite and cobblestone work really well together. And moss just generally looks nice pretty much wherever you put it. Now, what I also do is, as you can see in a minute, I add in a tinted glass window. Now, tinted glass has very quickly become one of my favorite blocks, purely for this use alone. Tinted glass doesn't let light pass through it. Regular glass does. So, for tinted glass, you could not have a window into mob spawners without it breaking them, or you being at risk of being killed. Because mobs spawn where you are. But now with tinted glass, we can. So I just really like adding it because A, I think it looks nice, and B, it gives you a very visible way of seeing when the spawner's on and off. I also end up, as you can see here, I just start dumping a bunch of the deep slate into the chest system itself. I mean, it works, you know. But as you can see here, I've dug out roughly where I'm going to put the elevators, and here I start going up and actually digging out where the elevators are going to be. This is probably what took the longest, mainly because I decided to use super smooth stone, or smooth stone as the game calls it, but I'm used to calling it super smooth stone, so that's what I'm calling it. And you get super smooth stone by smelting stone. But to get stone, you either need silk touch pickaxe, or you need to smelt cobblestone. And I think I sat by those furnaces for a good 10 minutes, just getting every bit of, it probably wasn't that long, that's probably an exaggeration. It was probably about 5 minutes for each. Oh no, actually that is roughly 10 minutes. Never mind, I guess I was kind of right. Regardless, it took a long fucking time to get all of the super smooth stone that I needed. Which is why this episode is just the skeleton farm. And why I don't end up finishing the skeleton farm. Because where there are jump cuts in this time lapse is where I had to run back and sit and smelt stone or get more resources. So by the end of actually getting the spawner just up and running, I had recorded about 2 hours, roughly, longer than I usually do. So I called it there, which is why the outro clip on this one is especially short compared to what I usually have. We do finish the skeleton farm in episode 13, which is actually a longer one. I haven't done a longer episode in a while, and that is mainly because I assumed that I could fit the a little bee house in there as well. I did. I think it's about 40 minutes, but I fit in. Yeah, as you can see here, it was a lot like that, but double the number of furnaces and double the amount of time. Actually, it's probably more something like increase the time by 500%. Now, what I do eventually do is I just shut up the outside of the... I also get a bit lost here. Because I can't quite remember where I came out of the elevator. But what I do eventually go and do is with the entrance that I used to get in and out of the spawn location right at the start, I do eventually just block up the entrance to that. That panel's still there, but it's blocked off for now. But as you can see, I then go about digging out the second elevator shaft. This doesn't take as long because I've already done 25% of the work. Actually 20% because there's 5 blocks. area, I put in the water streams, which are going to be putting the skeletons into the little kill chamber. And because of the dimensions of it being 9 by 9, and water from a water bucket flows a maximum of 8 blocks, including the store block. So by having a row of water sources all along one wall, it's all going to push them along. And then I just have a water source block on either side of the lower level, which pushes them in. What I do have a habit of doing is just making as you've seen, I make the kill chamber 3 by 2. 1 by 2 would be perfectly fine. I just like how a 3 by 2 looks. I then start putting in the floor dash ceiling of the little oh god, I don't know what you call it. The place where we're going to be when we're in the skeleton farm. I decided to use dark oak and oak wood for this. Specifically stripped oak logs for the walls and dark oak for the floors and ceiling. They complement each other quite well, with one being a lighter wood, the other being a darker wood. And the texture difference between the strip log and the planks also works quite well. It also works relatively well with the super smooth stone, which is also a very light color. What I start doing here is digging out the little tunnel that the redstone is going to run down, as well as digging out the area that I'm going to need to be working in. I also figure out how I want the layout of the redstone lamps, which are, if you haven't figured it out by yet, the whole purpose of having redstone lamps in here is so that I can turn the farm on and off, because when there's a light source in the room, the mobs won't spawn. So by having lamps in there that I can turn on and off, I can turn the spawner on and off. So if I ever need to go in and do maintenance, or I don't necessarily want it running, I can just turn it off. I put in some signs in order to keep the water from flowing out of the water elevators into the room, and I also start putting in the walls. I also go up and finish off placing in the redstone lamps. And I also then put the redstone in place. I also wall in the area so that if I ever go up there to do maintenance, nothing can come out of the woodworks and attack me. The way I eventually decide to link it up is just by connecting it all to the central big light and then running a line down to where the lever is. I also do put in a couple of repeaters. And what repeaters do is, if you didn't know, repeaters, okay, so when redstone is active, it has a signal, and that signal can cover a distance of 15 blocks. When you put a repeater into a circuit, it essentially refreshes that distance. So you can have a lever 30 blocks away from the output, and by having a couple of repeaters in there, you can make sure that it still works. They essentially extend the circuit, if that makes sense. so they are pretty much a staple of any redstone build. You can also use them for timing and a bunch of other cool stuff, but I will go more in depth in that when we actually eventually play around with timings. That being said, I don't especially want to do that anytime soon, because I've just had flashbacks to when I spent a solid few hours trying to get the timings perfect on a underwater airlock. I got the timings perfect eventually. It took me a long fucking time, but I did it. But we probably won't make anything like that here, you know? I don't have a habit of making complicated builds for no reason. No, not at all. Okay, so I'm going to call it there for recording for the minute. You will probably do a second outro at some point. Maybe, well, probably continue with this tomorrow. The skeleton farm is functioning now. I just have to do a little bit more of the detailing on the inside, and then also make a little house outside so that it's a lot easier for me to figure out how to get in and out. So just in case this does end up being the end of episode 12, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.